A variable resistance R is connected across a source of voltage V if the value of the resistance R is gradually varied. Just assume that the circuit like this. A variable resistance, so we put an arrow mark here, is connected across a source of voltage.
There's also B, I guess.
Yes. So here we have a voltage. Now, the value of the resistance R is gradually varied. That is, R is varying, either increasing or decreasing. Assume that it is increasing from 0 to some values. Now, the relationship between I and R, it's also related to the Ohm's law, but Ohm's law, pure Ohm's law, relationship between voltage and current. Here they ask about the relationship between current and resistance. So, I is equal to V by R. This is the formula from Ohm's law. We say that. And in the question paper, they mentioned that is connected across a source of voltage. The variable one is the resistance. Voltage is not a variable. It's a fixed one. So that means voltage is constant. Now the current is vary, depends upon I by R. Is correct? Because voltage is constant. Is correct?
Yes.
Hello? Yes. So for this particular problem, here the equation is I is inversely proportional to 1 by R. Because voltage is constant, resistance is varying. Initially, R is equal to 0. Suppose if R is equal to 0, the current is infinity. If R is equal to infinity, I is equal to 0. So simply, we forget about the mathematical equations. Is simply I is inversely proportional to R. See here, dependent variable here resistance. Here resistance is increasing. If the resistance increases, current is decreasing. Here this is wrong. Here resistance increasing, current also increasing. So here it is also wrong. So resistance is increasing, current is decreasing. So simply it is Y is equal to 1 by X. So that's why we have a curve. So answer is B.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What about D? Why D cannot be the answer?
What about?
What about the option D? Why it cannot be the answer? What is the reason for D not to be the answer?
Answer is?
I'm asking why not the graph D? Why it is not fulfilling the criteria?
Okay, okay, for example, see here is a variable resistance. The resistance value is minimum. The 0 to we can able to change 0 to 100.
Okay.
Okay, connected across a 10-volt battery. So the circuit is closed, the current will flow. Here they ask the relations between current and resistance. So we draw the graph. Resistance and current. So 0, 10, 20, 100. Here I is equal to V by R. That is 0 by 0. Sorry, volt I is equal to V by R. assume that we have a 0 ohm resistance, 10 ohm, 20, 50, 100. Here, the applied voltage, assume that applied voltage is 10. So 10 by 0. 10 by 10. Here 10 by 20. Here 10 by 50. Here 10 by 100. So that is RI. If the resistance is 0, current is infinity. If the resistance is 10, the current is 1. If the resistance is 20, the current is 10 by 20.5. So that means, so if the resistance increases, the current is gradually decreasing. Is correct?
Yes, sir.
So see here. See here, the resistance is increasing, current is gradually decreasing. Rest of the graph is not like this.
Okay, but the D is also having a graph which is reducing. Even there also the current is reducing as the resistance is
Also
increasing.
reducing. Here at R is equal to 0, what is the value? Current?
It's infinity.
Infinity. Here it's not infinity. It's a particular value is present here. Here
Okay,
it's not
only
mentioned.
that is the only reason. Yes, okay.
Yes, that is the only reason.
Okay.
Apart in the math, suppose if you are having a good mathematics, just I is equal to 1 by R. That is, the equation is Y is equal to 1 by X.
Yeah.
So that is, the answer is this one.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes, suppose the options like this, like what the, we have options like this. A, B, C, this is the option D. Which one is the right answer? Here in the x-axis we have a resistance. Here x-axis we have a current. That is the only difference between the options B and D. So here in the mathematics, usually in the x-axis always present the independent variable. Suppose, for example, say take a stick. If the stick is hit, the pain always is proportional to the number of strokes. So always in the x-axis we have a number of strokes. In the y-axis we have a pain. Without the stick, we didn't have a pain. So always in the x-axis we have an independent variable. Y-axis we have a dependent variable. So current is a dependent variable. Correct?
Yeah.
So that is the reason. So we chose answer B, not a D, because in the D, in the x-axis we have a current. So that's why here also the same, because we have options like this. We have two graphs order. Forget about this one. We have two graph order. Which obeys the Ohm's law? This one or this one?
Top one. Top one.
Top one, because in the x-axis we have independent variable. Without the, see here, if we apply the voltage, current will move. So this is the reason. Okay.
Yeah.
So this problems also asked in the exam. You are measuring a current in a circuit that is operated with a 13 voltage battery. The ammeter is 40 milliamps. So from this, we have a 18 voltage. If you apply the 18 voltage to the load, it reaches 40 milliamps. Due to some reasons, now instead of 18 volt, due to some reasons, the ammeter reads instead of 40 milliamps, it is only 20 milliamps. At that time, how much voltage we will give? From Ohm's law, half of, because I is directly proportional to voltage. In this question paper, they didn't mention about the resistance value. So that's why we have, in the question paper, we have only two parameters. One is voltage and current. So that's why the 40 milliamps is reduced to 20 milliamps, means the voltage is reduced to 18, instead of 18 voltage, we do 9 voltage. So answer is 9 voltage. So in our exam, we have the question papers here, they mention that milliamps like this. So we must remember the prefix tables. Pico, first we start from milli, kilo, mega, giga. Similarly, micro, nano, pico. Because sometimes we have a problems. The problem they given the value in terms of this pico value, nano value. So we must apply the value. We convert the units because the unit for the resistance is ohm, not milli ohm or mega ohm. So there is no need to buy all the things, because throughout the classes we will solve more problems, and each and every time we can be able to introduce this mega. That means 10 power 6 like this. We can be able to discuss the things. But keep in the mind, we must remember these values. So from Ohm's law, we say I is equal to P by R. Now R is a resistance. The resistance involves various parameters that now we discuss about the resistance. R is directly, R is equal to rho L by A. Just remember this formula. Because from this formula, we solve more problems. Sometimes for more logical problems are solved simply by using this formula. So that's why remember this formula. Resistance is which is equal to rho into L by A. Rho stands for resistivity, L stands for length of the conductor, A stands for cross-sectional area of the conductor. And apart from this, we have one more parameter, temperature, because in the Ohm's law itself we say it's a constant temperature. So resistance value is constant. The resistance value also vary, depends upon the temperature. Particular this slide, we assume that temperature is constant. At constant temperature, that means this formula is applicable at constant temperature. If the temperature is vary, means we have a different formula. So this formula is applicable for the constant temperature. So from this slide, just remember, resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor, area of the cross sectional, and resistivity. Sometimes we call it a specific resistance. Resistivity or sometimes some problems they mention that specific resistance. Both are same. Specific resistance. And in the exam, they ask the unit for the resistivity. So unit for the resistivity of specific resistance is and another important thing, we are following SI form, SI system, that is SI units. So length of the unit for the length is in terms of meter. So that's why we put in the meter. So SI unit for the area is meter square. And resistivity, by using this formula, we get this. So we can be able to byguard this unit. So unit for the resistivity or specific resistance is ohm meter. The spelling is not ER. It is wrong. The spelling mistake, we forget about it. So in the previous slide, we discussed about the resistance, resistivity. In this slide, we discussed about the conductance and conductivity. Resistance or conductance we call as a G. So symbol for the resistance is R, symbol for the conductance G, which is equal to reciprocal of the resistance. So G is equal to 1 by R. And similarly, rho, we stand for resistivity. Sometimes we denote as capital S. Here, on the other hand, we have a conductivity. Conductivity represents as rho. So we have a 4 important terms are the resistance, resistivity, conductance, conductivity. And from this slide, important question is unit for the conductance. Conductance are specific, in the previous I already said that specific resistance, here specific conductance. The unit is Siemens. This question is also frequently asked. Those who are studying more than 10 years or 15 years back, because at that time, the unit for the conductance we call as a mho. 20 years back, I studied, the unit is mho, or we write as like this. But nowadays, we are using the symbol unit for the conductance is Siemens. It's supposed to be a capital S.
Sir, what about conductivity? Is there any specific unit for conductivity?
Yes, conductivity just inverse of these values. So here, what is the value? Just see here, G is equal to rho A L. Okay. What is the unit for the conductance? Siemens, which is equal to rho. What is the unit for the area? Meter square. What is the unit for the length? Meter. So which is equal to unit for conductivity is Siemens per meter. Okay.
Okay.
So from this law of resistance, conductance, conductivity, we have a few problems, 2 or 3 problems. A wire of length 2 meter and another wire of length 5 meter are made up of same material, having same area of the cross section. So what is the formula? R is equal to, we have 2 wires. Here they are wire 1, this is wire 2. So wire 1 having a resistance of R1. Wire 2 have a resistance of R2. What is the formula for the resistance? R is equal to rho L by A. Rho L by A. For understanding purpose, I mentioned that rho 1, L1, A1, rho 2, L2, A2. Here we have 2 meters. So here they mentioned that material and the area of the cross lengths are same. So that's why I put that rho 1, rho 2 are same. So that's why I put a rho A. Now see that resistance is directly proportional to length. Here directly proportional to length. So now we say we can able to directly say the wire 2 having a high resistance. Correct? Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's correct.
Yes. Because why I give the explanations, sometimes we have a different questions, we can able to apply like this. So the first in this slide, it also depends upon the temperature of the temperature. But here in this formula, I told it is at constant temperature, this formula is applicable. But in the real field, the temperatures may be vary. For example, in Qatar, for example, in the Ras Laffan, we have an induction motor. In the induction motor, in the summer season, the induction motor, the temperature is 55 degrees Celsius. But at the same time, if you go for in winter, the temperature is vary. So that is, for assume that we say the induction motor. The induction motor considers a conductor. The temperature is vary means the resistance value is also vary. So that's why the temperature is important parameter. So we are not able to say the resistance value of the conductor is always constant. For example, assume that we take so suppose assume that it is a conductor. It's a conductor. Suppose the conductor, if you take we measure the ohm resistance value, say 100 ohm. The resistance value is vary in the summer season and winter season. That 100 ohm, it is the value at the constant room temperature, constant temperature only. The same conductor, if you measure in the summer, the resistance value little bit increase, maybe 105, 110 like this. So that's why the temperature, the resistance value does not same throughout the temperature. So that's why we have another formula. RT, which is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha naught T. Here R naught is a resistance at 0 degrees Celsius. So in the data sheet, each and every material, each and every metal, we have a specific resistance value. Then we have a zero resistance, the resistance at 0 degrees Celsius. So that's why we call us this value. This value is predefined value. Value is predefined value for each and every metals. So assume that we have a copper, aluminum, iron like this. So now, at 0 degrees Celsius, for example, say it is a conductor, it is a copper conductor. This conductor having 100 ohm at 0 degrees Celsius. So that's why it is a 0 degree. It is 100 degree. The resistance value is 100 ohm. So assume that now the temperature is increasing. If the temperature is increasing, means suppose in the room temperature is 100 ohm. Now I put a conductor in the 50 degrees Celsius place. So that at that time I measure this value. Now the resistance value is increasing. And if the 50 degrees Celsius is increased to 100 degrees, once again it's increasing. So from this data, they derive a formula. That formula we call as RT, which is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha T. So at 0 degree, we have a resistance value, and if the temperature increases, the resistance value is also increasing. And from this slide, we have an important question. That question frequently they will ask. R, T, D. Those who are working in the process industry, we can be able to know this value. RTD stands for resistant temperature detector. Resistant temperature detector, RTD. So from this formula, we have one particular problem. The same problem they ask it frequently. But in the AC fundamental, that RTD is a measuring device that we discuss in the measurement topic. Just keep in the mind RTD. And this is important slide. From this slide, we have here, frequently we have some questions are there. So in front of us, we have a different metals are there. So assume that I have in front of us, we have a copper, iron, mica, silicon. We have 4 different metals are there. We can able to say it is a insulator, it is a semiconductor device, it is both are metal, and more specifically it is a conductors. The copper is a conductor. Copper iron is we forget about the iron. So copper, it's a conductor. We can able to directly say it is a conductor, it is a insulator, it is a semiconductor. How we say mica is a insulator, conductor is a conductor, the copper is a conductor. So now, now we take a copper. Already I told predefined value, each and every metals having a resistance value at 0 degrees Celsius. So that is some numerical number is present. That is resistance value does not in the negative value. So it's always the positive number. 1 ohm or 0.01 ohm like this, but it's greater than 0. So at 0 degrees Celsius, take some value. Now the temperature is increasing. The resistance value is increasing. And I take another metal. We forget about the copper. here the temperature, we have some resistance value. The temperature increases, the resistance value is decreasing. And we have another one. At 0 degrees Celsius, it's having some resistance value. So sometimes, okay, the last one we will discuss later. Now we take these two one. What is the difference between these two? From these two graphs, what you understand that the temperature increases, here the resistance value is increasing, here the temperature increases, the resistance value is decreasing. Correct? Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir, it is correct. It is
Yes.
correct.
So now it is increasing, it decreasing. So that's why here we call it a positive temperature coefficient. Here we have a negative temperature coefficient. How to find a temperature coefficient? Just like this. In the college we discuss like this. Okay, forget about this. Beyond the scope, we forget about. Here it's increasing one, so it is a positive temperature coefficient. Here it is a negative temperature coefficient. How to categorize conductor and insulator? If having a positive temperature coefficient, it's categorized as a conductor. If having negative temperature coefficient, we call as a insulators. So insulators always having a negative temperature coefficient, conductor always having a positive temperature coefficient. But in our exam, they ask so by this, so they give this graph, and this graph is more apt for which one options. So here we choose the insulators, or sometimes in some insulator they mention the mica like this. So simply just keep in the mind, metal having a positive temperature coefficient and insulators having negative temperature coefficient. And one more metal we have here, both the positive temperature and negative temperature coefficient, that we call as a semiconductor, because the silicon, germanium, sometimes we can able to use as a conductor and sometimes we use as a insulators. So the semiconductor material, specifically silicon, germanium, having a both positive and negative temperature coefficient. And another metal we call as a see here, this metal with respect to the temperature, the resistance value does not vary, is always constant. That type of metals we call as a alloys or eureka. This type of metals are used in the infrared temperature. So now during this COVID seasons, everyone have a temperature detector. So that's why this slide is too important. From this slide, we have a few questions are there. We have a general formulas. From Ohm's law, we have a formula I is equal to V by R. And power P is equal to voltage into current. From Ohm's law, we can be able to write current as V by R. So that's why we have a formula V square by R. Similarly, we have I square R formula. Just remember these formulas. And this formula also free. This formula also maybe from this formula we have here few questions are there. Then we have here Kirchhoff's voltage law, current law. Yes, okay. So Kirchhoff's law, we have two laws are there. One is a Kirchhoff's current law, another is a voltage law. So Kirchhoff's current law states that current flowing into the node or a junction must be equal to current flowing out of the node. So you forget about the statement. Just so here we have different branches are there. So that this point we call as a node. So this point we call as a node. So this node, this current are entered to the node. These currents are leaving from the node. So we can be able to, from Kirchhoff's current law, the current enters the node, which is equal to current leaves the node. So current enters the node I1. I1 plus 15, which is equal to current leaves from the node. Here 15 plus 30 plus 20. Now we can be able to solve the problem. Correct? So from Kirchhoff's current law, so we have like this, we have different problems. So here it is a junction. What is the total current? So addition of these three numbers, because this is the node. Here the current enters. So current enters is I, which is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So Kirchhoff's current law means it is a parallel circuit. We can be able to remember. Kirchhoff's current law always represent the parallel circuits. Next we have a Kirchhoff's voltage law. Kirchhoff's voltage law. See here. So Kirchhoff's law is applicable only at the closed loop because see this diagram. We have one voltage source, 1, 2, 3, 4 resistance are there. So now the circuit is divided into two halves like this. Here we have a resistance. Here we have a voltage source. So if you have a source means we call as a active elements present. Voltage source, current source we call as a active elements, and resistance, inductance are called as a passive elements. So now we discuss about the DC fundamental. So you forget about the rest of that. Just remember resistance alone. So resistance is a passive elements. Passive elements always receives the power. Active elements always delivers the power. So that's why here we have a rise. Voltage rise is here. Here we have a voltage drop. We have because it's a passive elements are there. Before going to this problem, just here 10 volt, 10 ohm resistors. What is the current? How much current will flow here?
1 amps of current flows in that.
Amps. 1 amps. Applied how much volt? Applied voltage? 10 voltage. What is the voltage drop?
The voltage drop is also 10 volts.
Okay. Voltage drop. How to find the voltage drop? Voltage drop D, which is equal to I into R.
I by R. Yes.
So current flow the resistance is 1 amps and resistance value is 10 ohm. So 1 into 10. When current will flow? When the circuit is closed. So voltage, if you use the word voltage drop, that means the circuit is closed. Without the circuit closed, the circuit is not closed means we are not used the word drop. It's correct? It's correct? If you use
Yes,
the
yes,
word drop means
Yes.
the circuit becomes closed. So that's why Kirchhoff's voltage law is applicable when the circuit is closed or particular branch is closed. Okay. Now we come to here. Now it is a closed circuit. The closed circuit here 15 volt, 10 volt, 15 volt Vx. So we can be able to write 50, which is equal to 15 plus 10 plus 15 plus Vx. Now simply mathematics, we can be able to substitute the numerical number and find the value Vx is 10 volt. But this for understanding purpose only I give this problem. Let me have more problems in the next slides. So important keyword is Kirchhoff's voltage is applicable only at the closed loop and Kirchhoff's current law is applicable at the junction point or node. Now application of the Kirchhoff's voltage law and current law. Now resistors are connected in series circuits. Just assume that we have two resistors are connected in series circuit. Altered in the series circuit, applied voltage, V voltage. Now the circuit is closed. The resistance value is R1. The resistance value is R2. Now the circuit is closed. Now the circuit is closed one, so the current will flow. I current will flow. From Ohm's law, we can be able to find the voltage drop. The circuit is closed, so current from Ohm's law, current will flow. The current is I amps. The I current is flowed to the resistance R1. Once again from Ohm's law, the voltage drop in the resistance R1, which is equal to V1. That is V1, which is equal to I1 R1. Correct? And the same current flow to the resistance R2 like this. Okay. Now, from Kirchhoff's voltage law, voltage rise, which is equal to voltage drop. Voltage rise is V voltage. Voltage drop, we have 1, 2, 3. So 3 resistance are there. So we have 3 voltage drops. V1, V2, V3. From Ohm's, that is, we can be able to write like this. V is equal to V1 plus. So once again, in our exam, there is no derivations in our exam. Just we understand the concepts only. By Kirchhoff's voltage law, we write this equation. We can be able to write V1, which is equal to I1 R1. And V2 means I2 R2. V3 I3 R3. This is due to Ohm's law. From Ohm's law, we write the formula. And third one. In the series circuit, the current will be same. So that's why I write I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I3 is equal to I. So the equations become I R1, I R2, I R3. So we can be able to rewrite these equations, and finally we get this resistance. So this is the formula for to find the total resistance in the series circuit. R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. And we know resistance, reciprocal of the resistance is G. So 1 by
Inductance.
okay. So it is a mere addition. It is not a inverse addition. So let me, because we have some confusion by using this formula. So at the problem we will discuss. At present we forget about this formula. Just remember this formula. So this is the two important, the 6 points. From these 6 points, we solve more problems. And sometimes we have a concept-oriented questions also there instead of problem questions. So in the series circuit, current same. Different resistance having different voltage drop. That means V1 is not equal to V2. So depends upon the resistance value, the voltage drop will vary. The same resistance means we have the same voltage drop. So this is by using Kirchhoff's voltage of additive. That means by Kirchhoff's voltage law, we say V1 plus V2 plus V3. And similarly, the fourth equation also from Kirchhoff's voltage law, the applied voltage V, which is equal to voltage drop. And resistance are additive. So we know the formula R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So that's why resistance are additive. V is equal to V1 so V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. So multiply this equation. Multiply with I. What is the value? Vi, which is equal to V1I plus V2I plus V3I. That means Vi, which is equal to power, which is equal to power consumed by resistance 1, power consumed by resistance 2, like this. So that's why we say powers are additive. Now resistance are connected in parallel circuits. So now we apply the voltage, V voltage. The circuit is closed. So current will flow. The current is I current. Here we have a different resistance. We have a different resistance currents are there. So here it is a junction point. At this apply Kirchhoff's current law, I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. How to find the current I1, which is equal to V1 by R1. By using Ohm's law, this is Kirchhoff's current law. Then by using Ohm's law, I1 which is equal to V1 by R1, V2 by R2, plus V3 by R3. So in the parallel circuit, voltage becomes same. So instead of V1, V2, V3, we put as a V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. This is the total current. So total voltage will be total resistance. So that's why we have a formula 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. and we can able to say 1 by R is equal to G. So G is equal to G1 plus G2 plus G3 like this. So these 5 points also still important. Based on this 5 points, we can able to solve the problems. Important. Conductance only additive, not the resistance. And in the parallel circuits, two resistors are connected in series circuit. Here 10 ohm, here 20 ohm. What is the total resistance value? We may say R1 plus R2, so 30 ohm. And similarly, we have a two resistance. So parallel, we have a 10 ohm resistance, 20 ohm resistance. What is the formula? 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. That is 1 by 10 plus 1 by 20 is equal to 1 by R is equal to this value. R is equal to 10 into 20 divided by 10 plus 20. So for two resistance, we by heart one more formula. R is equal to R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. For two resistance, use this formula. For more than two resistance, use this formula. These formulas. Because in our exam, we can able to use our calculator. So there is no need to use the formula. Because if you go to the formula, we did mistakes. So another important two rules are there: voltage division rule and current division rule. Before going to the voltage division rule, just see this diagram. 24 voltage,